And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. This is the second in-studio interview that we've had. I'm joined here by a friend of mine, Nathan Orchard, who I've known for, 4 or 5 years now through real estate, selling window coverings, and just knocked on the door one time when you were at a place, and we talked to each other a little bit, and then we've been working with each other ever since. So
Yeah.
you've got a few things going on. I met you through real estate, but you've just started a siding company. So
I did.
tell us a little bit about who you are and what got you into wanting to start your own business and doing real estate and things like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we ran into each other in an actual new construction development right there in Eagle,
Yep.
right? Yeah, it was, I can't remember, Crestwood Place, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, I still remember the little place there because there was one agent in there, and then like 2 weeks later I came back by to see her, and she was
they were
gone, and it
gone,
was you,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, hey, here we go.
Exactly, yeah. No, it worked
Yeah.
out really well, and it's been it was nice to meet you then, and yeah, we've got a lot of work and business to do in the future, so
Yeah.
this will be fun. So yeah, just to kind of, I guess, give the backstory. So I have done two things my entire life. One is siding, and the other is real estate. And I started out, what was I, 19, 20 years old maybe, and started out at Boise Cascade, a lumber wholesale company, and started out as a purchaser. And so I started purchasing the siding. I started, having all the relationships with the manufacturer reps and all the retail yards and stuff like that in the valley. So I would purchase the products and bring them in, and then we would distribute them out, right? So I was the middle guy and the wholesale side. So it's a corporate world when you do that, right?
Yeah.
And I learned really quick that I am one of those guys that I have got to be moving forward and got to be continuing to grow and
Right.
improve. And when you're in corporate, you get to a point where the only way you're going to move up is if someone retires or dies.
Right.
And in a corporation like that, it wasn't going to happen anytime soon. So it kind of got me to think about the outside, selling the end product. So instead of selling all the raw materials and making pennies, basically, I was able to go out and get my real estate license. And I actually started with a builder.
Okay.
So I started in real estate, got my license with them, and sold for them for a couple years. And I would say about 80% of my business over the last 11 years, 12 years has been new construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's a big thing here right now, and it's kind of funny because there's just like they're running out of houses that people have already pre-owned.
Seriously.
And so they just have to continue to just keep building these new ones where,
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. Like the siding side of that, the real estate side of that, like that's a huge thing. And I'm sure it's just going to keep going because people just want to move here, right?
Yeah, the interesting part, I guess if you look at it from the real estate side, like we're trying to analyze this market, right? We've never seen this before.
Right.
This is different. Like we've gone through some waves over the last, 20, 30 years, whatever, but this is different. And one of the things that we're noticing is that a lot of the millennials, I guess we'll call them millennials, we'll just label them and put them in this box, but a lot of them are coming in purchasing homes at this point. The problem is they don't have a home that they're selling.
Right.
So they're coming in just taking homes off the market without putting more inventory back on.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we're getting this flop from not having enough inventory, too many buyers, and especially with millennials and first-time home buyers, these interest rates are making it very difficult for them to purchase and to become homeowners.
Yeah,
and so it's different.
It's crazy. Like, and one of the things that I see a lot too is like the builders are adding in incentives to lower the rate because the rate is too high, right?
Yep.
So that's what they're doing. They're trying to get more people.
It's what you always do, right? Depends on where you're at in the market. You'll put together promotions and ideas and ways. It was just like when the interest rates first hiked. What was the first thing that we saw? Those rate buy downs.
Yep.
The 3-in-1, the 2-in-1s, whatever you want to call them, right?
Yep.
Just trying to keep sales and trying to keep the market going when clearly a 7% interest rate on a $500,000 home is not going to be easy for a lot of people to afford.
Yeah, it's nuts. This place is it's crazy how you go from like a tiny house with a 3% interest rate to something that has got a 7, and it's crazy. It is. You feel like you're wasting a lot of money. But
Oh, for sure.
my parents in the 90s, they had, I think that their interest rates were pretty high in like the 80s and 90s, right?
They were.
Over like 20.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were high. They were like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
But of course, their homes were $65,000. So
A little
huge
bit different.
And that's kind of what I noticed too. My first home, I was 19 when I bought my first one, and what was it? 100? Oh no, it was like 95,000. It was 6.5%, 7% interest rate.
Yeah.
But for 95,000.
Right.
So that's manageable, right? That's
Yep.
doable. But man, with these prices the way they are, and just the way our market got hit with that influx of everybody coming in, the one thing that is probably going to be the guarantee and probably the consistent sales and moving forward strategy for real estate is new construction,
Yeah.
because we can build them.
Yep.
Right. And I think we're going to be behind for a while.
Yeah, and I don't think that's one of the things that like a lot of people are looking for this market to burst, and I don't feel like it's going to. I feel like we've got enough people coming here that they need to build those houses, and then we also have a bunch of people who are coming of age who are going to want to buy houses. So we see a lot more of these apartments and things like that going up because the native people who are coming here making very low wages can't afford anything other than an apartment.
And even then, it's crazy how high those have gotten, right?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, I have a 19-year-old boy. I have a 23-year-old daughter and a 19-year-old son, and they're out there trying to live, life and trying to get their life started. And my daughter made a good choice, and she bought a mobile home in one of those nicer mobile home parks down in Boise.
Yeah.
And for either the choice to pay rent and pay someone else's mortgage, kind of deal, or for them to take something like that was all they could afford.
Right.
And so she jumped on that right away, and she's done good for the last 2 years. She's now selling it and building with Hubble and getting a new home and stuff.
Right.
But man, just even looking at my son, 19 years old, trying to get out there, it's like, where does he? They can't do it without friends. They can't do it without buddies or relationships. Let's take two people, two incomes. I mean, it's crazy, man.
And that's a smart thing. One of the things that it's kind of funny as you're talking about that, my mind just kind of goes where you and I have talked. Like, you've always been kind of this entrepreneurial person. So, like, I'm assuming that you probably did talk to your son a little bit about that, where it's like, hey, you go buy it, but go get this guy to come pay rent to you to pay for the payment, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
and
the way
especially
to do
now,
it.
it's one of the cool things that's happening is like that's what people are doing. They're going and getting a 3 or 4 bedroom house, and then they will rent out the rooms.
Yeah,
like that is more of an okay and approved, not frowned upon kind of deal.
Right.
It's having just a bunch of people and you rent out rooms, and people are paying a lot for room rent. I mean, $600, $800, $900 depends on where you're at.
Probably covering that house payment pretty easy.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when you get 3 of them in there.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. But yeah, I try to talk to them about that kind of stuff. But teenagers, they're smarter than we are anyway. So.
Oh yeah, they know everything.
So they're not going to listen to me.
We always knew that, right? That's the way we were too. So it's kind of funny.
Absolutely. Yep.
So talk to me a little bit. One of the things that, we talked to last time we had lunch, which has been a couple of years, we sat down and we were talking a little bit about books and things like that, and how what I like is that you always seem driven. Like, it's always like you're trying to look for the next thing. So you were in real estate.
Yep.
You are now working towards, you said that you were a big purchaser, which is the guy who goes and buys it and then sells it to like Franklin Building Supply or like Home Depot or whatever, right?
Correct.
Now you're starting this company where you're actually the guy who's buying the siding from the Home Depots, the Franklin Building Supplies, those types of places to put this stuff up.
Yeah.
Tell me about that transition, because you said you actually did it before. You've done siding before.
I have, yep, yeah. Back in the day when I was one of the main siding guys in the market for several years. I brought a pre-finished siding into the market and introduced that. I was like one of the pioneers, I guess, if you want to say that. So on the technical side of things, I know siding inside and out, and probably have forgotten more than a lot of people will even know.
Right.
I hate to say that because that just ages me and tells everybody I'm that old guy now. But no, that's all I did, and that was my main product line back in the day. And then we did a bunch of flips, and we did things, and I did all the work myself. So I did all the siding. I made sure I re-sided everything that we ever did. It adds the value, and I was able to get them obviously cheap, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of made sense for a flip. But so now where I'm at is the last, I would say almost 3 years ago now, I kind of shifted my real estate business from resale and buyers and sellers and stuff like that to land and development.
Okay.
So I really like to go out and find a piece of land and take it through the entitlement process, see what we can do with it, get, the approvals and stuff from the cities, and create townhomes, create, just small developments and different things, which has gotten me some really good connections with builders and developers in the market. I love doing that. The problem, so what I did, let me back up, is I shifted over to just doing that solely.
Right.
And so I let go of my real estate business for the most part and just started pumping all my time and energy into that. And man, when those rates came up, it didn't just hurt homes, it hurt land too, because that's the cost of money. So we had investors, but I had oh man, what was it? Yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I had about $42 million under contract and was looking to make a pretty hefty commission on all that, right?
Yeah.
And that was various developments in between apartments, townhomes, and new builders coming into the market, and they all fell apart.
Man.
All of it.
Yeah.
We literally lost them all.
It's pretty crazy, like watching that happen. So like when we were building this house, and we've almost been here 2 years, so
Yeah.
we're getting to a point where it's like, are we going to hang out here? Are we going to downsize again? Because
Sure.
like this is way bigger than what we thought it was going to be when it all ended up. Like
That's
you
how
build
it
your
goes,
first
yeah.
house, it's like, hey, let's build this, and we want this, and we want that, and blah blah blah. And it's like, I love the studio that I have here, and I've had it for a couple of years now, but I
Yeah.
didn't do any in studio interviews for a while, and now it's
Right.
gotten to that point. So it's like going to be hard to, if I decide to
Sure.
let it go. But it's just crazy. It's like the lot was a certain amount, and I could have got the same price a lot in Cartwright Ranch for like a half acre.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
I got 3 acres out here. So it's kind of like, well, why would I do that? Why would I
Yeah.
take one when I could get 3? You know, maybe resells a little bit more out there, but then I don't have as much property.
Yeah.
There's just like all these different downsides to everything
Sure.
that you do. And so it's just crazy watching that happen. But we had a lot out in Thunder Ridge, which is up on top of Star, I think it's Star Road.
Yeah.
Over in Star.
Sure.
And like we had the lot, it's still sitting there vacant. So I can see these developers, like they're like, yeah, we're going to build on there, but
Yeah.
then they never got to it.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
And it hasn't moved, like the freaking tumbleweeds are still out there.
It's
so
tough. I mean, for builders right now and anybody that's been working on these projects, like they'll take a couple years, some of them, right, to get from raw land to whatever entitled setup you're trying to do. But man, when the market shifts like it did, there's a lot of just fear, I
Yeah.
guess, basically, right? It's like, do you hold it and wait? Do you wait to see what the market's going to do? Are you sitting on it too much and you've got a monthly, type, because you loaned that money, for the most part you did, right? Maybe
Right.
there were some hard money guys and people that had their own money, but yeah, you've got so much adding up every month, and you've got to decide if moving forward is the smart way or trying to hold it and see if they can build it out in 5
Right.
years. And that's what I see right now with a lot of land. So when people talk about the home prices, the one thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit is people don't understand the process, right? From ground zero to when the home exists.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but a lot of the issues that we're running into now, which is keeping the home prices fairly high, not just supplies. Supplies are high, right? We all
Right.
know that, and we're having issues, getting supplies in. And there's always an issue of some kind when it comes to supplies, just always.
Yeah.
Labor's gone up like crazy, but the main thing where everything starts is that piece of land.
Yeah.
That piece of land is where everything starts. So like as a builder and a developer, you're going to look at a piece of like a lot, right? So like this one, for example.
Yeah.
We'll say you guys bought it for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
You do basic napkin math. You multiply that by 4.5, and that's where you have to sell that house at.
Yeah.
And you pray to God that your build budget and everything fits within that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we started building this thing, and my builder, great builder, but she was just like, well, it's going to be this, and this. And like, it just starts adding up.
Yep.
She's like, it'll add up pretty quick. And you're sitting there thinking, well, lumber's down right now. Well,
Right.
lumber was down. It was awesome. Lumber was down,
Oh,
but
good.
then the cost of sheetrock was up or something.
shoot.
It's like,
Always
that's the way it's always just like you said, like, or siding's more this time than it was last time.
Right.
Or, there's all these things that fluctuate, but you end up paying more for it
For sure.
in the end, and then it just ends up hosing you. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and most people out there that don't, or I guess are ignorant to the industry and to the market. They see the high home prices and they think builders are just gouging people and blah
Right.
blah blah. Right? Really, there's a lot that goes into it, and that's why when I got into the land side of things, I really tried to do my numbers the best I could to understand what was going to be sold. So what you do is you go and figure out if you're going to put 50 townhomes in here, what are those townhomes going to sell at?
Right.
Back out all your costs and your expenses, take it down, and just do the math backwards, right? And you're like, okay, I can't spend more than $90,000 for a lot in here.
Right.
And everywhere you're looking around here, they're much higher than that.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell you how much this lot was, but like the lot in Cartwright Ranch was $100,000 more.
Okay.
So it's like you're sitting there going, man, this is crazy. Like we're thinking, my buddy has a house over on the other, like 2 ridges over,
Okay,
that
yeah.
he built like 6 years ago.
Okay.
He paid $60,000 for that lot,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and this is way more.
Oh, absolutely. You
It's
got 3
insane.
acres up here. Good
yeah,
for you.
he's
dude.
got 3 acres too.
Oh,
but-
he does?
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha,
But
okay.
it was like at the time of the market when it was like not.
Yes.
It was like this was worth 60.
Okay.
This is worth.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
we paid, the lot was $250.
Oh, was it really? Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Yeah.
So like you're,
Oh,
5
yeah.
times as much.
And then you add, the going vertical costs with this
Yep.
home and everything on it. Man, it adds up so fast.
It does. It's crazy. It's
Yep.
nuts.
Yeah.
So,
So that's kind of where I went. So I stepped away. To be straight up honest with you, I got so tired of working with buyers and sellers because everybody in this market, they think their home is worth this much.
Right.
I'm a realtor, right? I'm a specialist. That's what I do. So when I come in and analyze your home and give you the market comps and the market analysis, I'm not an idiot. I
This
know
is your
what's
job.
yes, this is what I do every day. And you give them that number and they're like, yeah, well, we were expecting this, or the neighbor sold it for this last year. And same thing happens with land. So when we find a 5-acre parcel somewhere and his old buddy, 2 years ago sold his for 2.5 million, I'm sorry, but it's only worth 1.5 now, right?
Yeah.
And they do not accept that, and they will fight and push, and it's frustrating.
yeah. My parents don't watch this, but like I'm thinking about them when they sold their place in Middleton. They were just
Yeah.
like, I'm not taking any less, like this is what it is. That's how it
Yeah.
is. And it doesn't matter. And someone
Yeah.
else will come by it. And they were right. I mean, like at that point they were right. They ended up,
Sure.
someone came and paid what they wanted for it.
Cool.
They didn't
Good
have
for
to
them.
make any
Yeah.
negotiations, but that's not the way that it usually happens.
No,
Like,
not usually. Yeah.
everyone's going to find something wrong with it. Like, there's a crack in the wall there and you're going to
Sure.
have to fix that. Or like, it's funny every time a home inspector comes into the house, they're like, I feel like they have to find something wrong.
They have
right?
to justify their job. Absolutely.
Yep. And so they're up there and there's like, oh, there was some nails on the roof with rust. So we need you to go up there and call. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
We're
that.
going to go ahead and say that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get the air conditioner inspected just so you're happy, but that's all I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I'm not
I know
gonna
that's
do
the
that.
crazy part. Like with my buyers and stuff, I always suggest that's number one. I suggest you get a home inspection no matter what, but just be prepared for the massive pile of this list that you're
Right.
going to get. It's going to be daunting, and we're going to have to go through it step by step. But 10% of it might be legit.
Yeah.
The other part is he's just pointing out just things that he feels that you should know.
Yeah. That's their job. Their
Yeah.
job is to like go through your home with a fine tooth comb and figure
Absolutely.
out what's wrong with it,
Yeah.
just in case.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what I did the last couple of years is I shifted over there. Now, when we lost all those developments, when the rates went up, then I'm sitting there with no backlog. All of my future, moving forward with these buildings, and there was several of those I was actually going to represent and sell the end product.
Yeah.
So I was booked out for, I don't know, 5, 8, 10 years with everything that I had there, and then it all falls apart.
Yep.
And then you're sitting there with your dick in your hand, basically, right?
Right.
Like, okay, what do I do now? And when you get to that point, bud, I don't know. I think that when you've been in real estate for a while, and I think most people that have been, they'll understand this and they'll second it. You can just like anything else, you can get burnout.
Right.
You get burnout. You get exhausted from doing the exact same shit over and over every day. But that's the key to success in real estate
Right.
is doing the mundane, making the mundane feel okay. Like, this is what I have to do. These are the steps. I have to consistently do this every single day, and I got to do it at this time and for this long and all this kind of crap. That's just how you
Right.
be successful.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, I just got to where I was just tired.
Yeah, and I mean, and I understand that. Like, I get that because I think that over time, like you said, you're doing it one way, right? Like,
Yep.
and so doing it with the developers, like, completely different than having to see everyday customers. Like,
For sure.
And you have a choice, right? You have to make a shift. You either decide that you're going to be, just a buyer agent or just a seller agent, but then are you going to do it at the property level like you were doing it, or are you going to end up having to go work with regular clients all the time and
Right.
show houses and do open houses and things like that? And the cool thing about real estate is you can choose whether you want to do that or not.
Yeah.
And once you figure that out, like if you get with a builder and all you're doing is selling builder homes, it's pretty
That's
easy.
a whole
like,
other ball game.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is the finish that they have. This is what you get. This is, like it
Yeah.
makes it easy. But then when it gets to the point where you're not comfortable doing it anymore,
Yeah.
like I don't want to be a salesman the rest of my life.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah.
right now, where my business is at,
What you
I'm
have
the
to do.
salesman, and
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to do it until I can make it so that there's enough
I love
income
that.
coming in the other way.
Absolutely.
So that I can
Yep.
just tell the salesman what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to put together the SOPs and create that job and that position for them, and then
Yep.
fill it. Right. Yeah, that's what we're doing with this siding company. That's the main reason why I jumped to that is because that's where I'm at in my real estate business. Is
Right.
am I going to start over? And I've started over several times over the last 11, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't have the motivation and drive for it. I'm kind of an asshole anymore. So
Yeah.
when it comes to buyers and sellers,
It happens to us when we get
I
older.
know, right? I'm just like, I am not dealing with you. Yeah, I give them a couple chances, and if there's too many red flags, I'm just like, you guys go find someone else to
Yeah.
sell it for you. But then when it comes to land, the one thing that's nice about land that I really liked is that it's a numbers game. It's strictly numbers, and you put the numbers together. If they work, great. If they don't, great. We walk away. No harm, no foul. There's not as much emotion and stuff like that. You know, when you're dealing with the actual landowners themselves, there can be some emotion there, but it's numbers.
Yeah.
And it works or it doesn't. So I kind of like that.
So tell us a little bit. So the siding business, you just started this. How new is it, and what are you doing? Are you working for builders strictly? Are you going out and bidding every single house? What are you doing there?
Good call. So the interesting part with this is the siding company came about because I told you I've done two things in my life, right?
Right.
So buying and selling siding and real estate.
Yeah.
So now that I'm done with real estate at my age, I'm like, shit, what do I do? What am I going to do? Because I got to create something here. And so siding is what I know. So I know that there is a need and a demand out there for subcontractors in every field, right? Electricians, plumbers, like there is a need for them.
Right.
And I see that there's a lot of siders out there that are able to set their own pricing because they're it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not knocking them at all. I mean,
Well,
good for them,
that's how
right?
the business is going, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's the fact of the matter is that I think that we're pretty close to the same age, but like when we were in high school, it was like, go to college, go to college, go to college.
Yes.
Everyone go to college, get a degree.
Yes.
These trades are not a big thing. It doesn't matter. Well, the
Yep.
people who would go to trade schools, there was a lot of them. The kids who didn't go to college, that's what they were doing.
Sure.
Well, now everyone goes to college, everyone can get a degree.
Yeah.
And they can go flip burgers with their degree. And now they're not putting that emphasis on these trades.
Right.
And
right.
so now there's less people doing the trades. So the reason why you can do that is because you are now the hot commodity.
Exactly.
They need you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of nice. That's one of the main reasons why I put it together was for my 19-year-old son. Right, he's 19. He is getting his GED and stuff right now. Long story. We don't have time on this podcast to go through that shit.
He's the gamer, right?
He is the gamer.
Yep.
Yep. So we're in the process of waiting for him to get signed.
Yeah.
And he has nothing to do.
Yeah.
He has no skills. I mean, seriously. And he could go.
It's tough to get skills these days
It
anyway.
is. Yep. So he could go out and he could get some, I don't know what they're paying now, 15, 16 hour, an hour job, which used to be great.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that ain't going to pay your gas to
I
get back
remember
and
when
forth
that
there.
was like top wage at Les
Shit,
Schwab when I
know.
worked there.
Right? We thought we were in the money.
Yeah.
So with that, I was just thinking, okay, I need to find a way to help him and help build some skills for him, help him have a job, that kind of stuff. So I came up with the idea just with that. Was for him and I thought, for 2 years, I need to step away from real estate anyways because I'm getting so freaking irritated and frustrated that I'm going to just destroy my reputation there probably and tell everybody to piss off. But so with that, I thought, okay, we're just going to have a one-man crew. I went out and bought all the equipment. We've got everything. We're ready to go. And what my main focus was is just him and I to be siding. So it's going to be a pain in the ass for a while because I got to teach him how to do it, got to teach him how to work, got all this kind of stuff. Right. No, probably details I probably shouldn't have said on here, but that's just where we're at.
It's the way it's interesting because I'm kind of going through the same thing. We're a two-man show. It's me and my partner. My partner does exterior shades and I do interior shades.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's an installer from before and he's also sold the product, the exterior product. So I'm out here selling the interior stuff, and then I have to learn how to install it because I've never really had to install it.
Okay.
We just got done when I came over here. I was helping him install an exterior job. So, these are all the things that you're learning to do because you are a two-person job.
Yep, exactly. So that's what our main focus is going to be is new construction. I would like to, and what I've been focusing on with my connections with builders and stuff in the market, I've gone to a couple of them and said, hey, look, we're a one-man crew. We're going to be able to do this amount of homes per year. So if it's a new construction home, a new construction builder, and they do 10 homes a year, we could handle their business, right?
Yeah.
We'll take that over. That way they don't have to worry about trying to fit into the schedules of the big guys who are siding for all the production builders and whatnot. So we're trying to fill that void in the middle where there's these builders are trying to hit their schedules. They build 10, 15 homes a year. We want a couple of those, and we'll just consistently just do that. So that's where we want to start because, one, I know that we'll be able to get the experience under our belt. Granted, I have a lot of experience, but we are 2 weeks old. Like, seriously.
It's just been 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yep. Like, it is brand new. I think our website just got put together Friday. I don't even know if it's released yet.
Yeah.
But that's how new we are.
Yeah.
So, we just got the general contractor's license back and everything. So it's brand new.
That's crazy.
And so we got, let's see, I think I'm bidding out 35. I got 35 homes on my desk right now to bid out for new construction. And new construction's easier, right? I mean, it's none of it's I hate to say easy because it downplays, the profession and whatnot, but it's just easier.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it that way. It's new construction.
Well, I mean, if
it's
you're
a blank
taking,
slate.
like, you really just got to think about it. Like, if
Yeah.
you're doing a remodel and you're tearing off old siding and you got to put new siding on, it takes twice as
That's a
long. There's a
different
lot more
ballgame.
work. It's a completely different thing.
Yes, absolutely. So we're hoping to get a bunch of new construction. Now we are going to be opening it up with our marketing. We're going to kick some marketing out there and do some, paper clips and paper clicks, paper PPC,
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff, right? So that we can try to get some out in the market and try to get some remodels, because the remodels is where you make more margin.
Right.
I mean, they're good, but that's really not what we're in the business to do right now. I'm just wanting to build this, work with a couple builders, throw up their siding, have it for a couple years, see what he wants to do, see which direction. If he wants to keep the business, then I'll turn it over to him. If we build up something pretty amazing in the 2 years, maybe we'll sell it, or
Yeah.
maybe we'll double down. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a start.
One of the cool things about that whole is like trying to figure out like what it is. So you're talking about a website, you're talking about like pay per clicks. So
Yeah.
like we're talking about like marketing with Google Ads or things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Where does that come into play? Like where are you finding that stuff? Are you doing it all on your own? Or are you reaching out to some sort of marketing
question.
group or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've got a marketer that I've used forever. Her name's Renee Ramos, and she is phenomenal. So she's been my real estate marketer. We had the opportunity, a couple weeks ago, there was a 105 home development that the builder was going to let me bid out. Come to find out, they're doing a ton of stucco and masonry, and we don't do it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that we were just going to build this company and just go be their cider
Uh-huh.
and just go work for them, right? Just stick with their community. So I wasn't going to need to market.
Yeah.
But we found out that's what they're having. We're only doing lap siding,
Yeah.
LP, James Hardy, Collins, that kind of stuff. So we're not doing stucco and masonry at this point.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that 85% of their siding was stucco, I was like, crap.
Yeah, that's like a completely different game, right?
It is. Yep. And I don't have the experience. I know we can do it and we could get there, but I don't want to take on a large job like that
Yeah.
where we're learning. Yeah, that's not a good
It's a
idea.
lot different slinging mud on the side of a house than it is nailing it
Yes,
up, right?
just slamming nails.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's what happened is I thought we were going to get that, and I thought that's kind of where we were just going to kick off. I thought we got super lucky, right? It was like, okay, we just created this company. We've tied with this builder, and we're going to crush it and just go and just do our thing. Well, that didn't turn out. So now I kicked over to my marketer, and I asked her, I said, look, I need websites. I need social media. I need everything put together now so that we can get out and start doing some marketing. Because it could take time.
Yeah.
For even just getting a couple builders, it all comes down to timing. Like the ones that we're bidding out right now, they're 2 months before they're even ready for it, right? They're just digging the hole today. So we need to start filling voids. We need to start looking at our backlog, start looking at just our schedule and filling it up. So I would like to get our marketing kicked out there fairly heavy. So Google Ads, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll let her run most of it for the most part. It's an area that I'm just not good at.
Yeah.
Marketing is tough. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's one of the things that we kind of run into too here. Like I'm basically the marketer for
Okay.
our business,
Gotcha,
right?
gotcha.
So I'm the one doing all the phone calls, all the emails, all that stuff. I tell you what, I've sent so many realtor emails to people telling them about who we are, what we're doing, what we got going on, and it's funny every time you get one. It's like, remove me from your list. Hey, buddy, it's not a list. It's me actually sending you an email. Not
This
that
is
it
me.
matters. You still don't want to talk to me, but I'm just trying to drum up some business.
I was just going to ask you how that's been going for you, because that's
Yeah.
that's one of the things I was going to do too, right? Hit
Yeah.
realtors, because that way we can be, if they have a home that they need to sell and they're like, oh crap, we need to replace the siding, they'll call us. We'll come over, knock it out. They can list it. I mean, that's kind of one of the avenues we were going to go. But how's that been so far with?
It's
with
been
realtors?
pretty decent. I mean, like honestly, like the majority of what we've gotten has been referrals from other customers. Like
Okay.
we did one house in Heron River that got us like 4 other jobs.
Oh, nice.
It
Yeah.
was just like you're sitting
Well
out there.
worth it.
It's crazy how exterior shades sell themselves.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like you're out there and you're putting them up, and people see it, and then the moment you hook it up to power and you roll that thing down, they're like,
Oh my God, I want one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
So
a great
people see
sales
it,
pitch.
and then we've had some really good customers who are like, "Hey, yeah, this is where we got it. This is what we're doing."
Sure.
My partner, I worked in the window covering industry for interior stuff for 6 years. He's been doing what he's been doing for 15. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of experience. It's just
Yeah.
it's getting that out there, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Is the big thing.
That's what I noticed when I saw you kick it out there. I can't remember if it was social media or where it was at first when you announced it. I was like, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Out there, taking it and doing it yourself and creating what your guys' own business. That's badass.
Well, and that's the thing.
for
It's
you.
like I've always thought that like I want to be my own, just like you. It's
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like when you get that entrepreneurial spirit, like when you want to build something, when you want it to be yours,
Sure.
and you work for someone else, it's
Oh,
never gonna be yours. Especially when it's like a family-owned business and
Right.
they've got they're really out for, and you can't blame
See what
them,
you're saying.
but
Yep.
they're out for their family.
Yep,
They
absolutely.
and I'm just a cog in their wheel
Yeah.
to keep them going.
And you can
right?
be replaced.
Yep.
Yeah, without hurting anybody's feelings and not causing problems in the family, right?
Right. And I'd rather be stressed about my own problems than other
Yes.
people's problems.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it was at. So it was, and that was, when I met you, that's where it was at. Like I'm trying to build my business for myself. And,
Yeah.
and that's when I go back and I call in like, hey, come sit down with me and let's talk about your business because
For sure.
this is what I see. Like you're in my Rolodex. You're one of
Absolutely.
my people. And I get attracted to people who kind of have the same thought process as I do, where they want to build something more. And that's what I've always liked about what you're doing is like, you can always see, like, you're always trying to find the next thing. You're
Oh,
always
cool.
trying to build one more thing. And
Yeah.
what can I do to make myself better? Right.
Awesome,
and
brother.
that's,
Appreciate that.
that's where it's
Yeah,
at.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's one thing I've also noticed is at this point in my age in life, I don't think I'm employable.
Right.
I think that's the problem, right? If I was to go and get a job, there was a moment there where I did actually start applying for jobs and start looking at things. I even accepted a couple of them and got in there and talked to them and had like the orientation. And I'm just sitting there. It took one day for me to look at their entire business and be like, that's not how I would do it.
Right.
I would do it this way. Why are you doing it that way? I'm like, that's horrible, right?
Yeah.
I'm already judging them right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I can't just fall in line and fall in suit and just be a number
Right.
and just I did that for 15 years before I got into real estate. I'm unemployable. I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Well, the thing is just like you said, it's like, why would you want to do it for someone when you see, like, if you see
Yeah.
all the things going wrong or you don't
Right.
agree with or whatever you're doing
Yeah.
and you can't fix it and you can't do anything about it, why would you do it?
Yeah.
At least now you're in charge of your own destiny.
Yeah, that's true. It was funny because before I actually I had this idea for the siding company a while ago, but you know how that goes. It's got to percolate for a while, and you got to think about it. And it just takes time.
Right.
And in the interim, like I said, 80% of my business has been new construction. So I actually, back in the day, had a sales training where I trained new construction agents to sell new construction.
Mm-hmm.
So I would get the opportunity to go in and just take people through because selling new construction it's a science.
Right.
It's sales. It's not real estate.
Yeah.
In my mind, you're now selling a product.
Right.
And you can sell it. Where a lot of realtors, like, you just got to put the sign in, don't direct people, don't guide them, don't steer them. I'm like, fuck that. Have them walk into my model home, and if they don't walk out buying something, I failed. Right?
Yeah.
So I went that route, and I was selling and teaching and all that kind of stuff. And before I decided to do the siding company, I actually did go and sign on with a builder.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to, I wanted to get they had an open sales manager position, and I wanted it because that's what I wanted to do. If I was going to be in a business and working for someone else, I want to be in charge of the sales team.
Right.
I want to be, the manager of some kind. And it was open, and I got beat out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there on this sales team, and I got beat for the sales manager position, which was by a great guy from one of the big builders here in town and stuff. He's going to do wonderful for him. But I was super bummed, and I was like, fuck, I can't sit here on this sales team.
Yeah.
I don't like their process. I don't like how they do things. I don't like how it's structured. Their systems were behind the scenes were horrible. They build a beautiful home. Like, it's a great builder.
Yeah.
But man, their behind the scenes drove me insane every day. And I told my, my buddy that was the, one of the sales, I guess, what is he, I don't know. He's one of the executives or whatever. I'm not sure. He's high up there. I'm trying not to say too many things because
You're right. Yeah, you try not to incriminate
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. And I even told him a couple times. I'm like, man, this is dog shit. I was like, this is not how you run a company. This is not how you run a sales team.
Right.
And for me to sit there and do it, there was no way. There was no way.
Yeah.
So I told him thanks for the opportunity, but I'm going to go out and start this company.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. What do you think? What do you think about your son? How is he taking it? Is he receptive? Is it going to be like, hey, I'm going to have to drag you through this, or what do you think? How's that going to go?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. It's tough because he's excited, right? He's excited about something he doesn't know.
Right.
So he doesn't have he doesn't know what the expectations are. He knows what it sounds like. He thinks it's going to be a company that he gets to go work with his dad, right? So that's cool. He gets to continue to learn from me, and I get to drive him and push him. And he's a great kid, and he's been with me for the last 5 years.
Right.
He's awesome. Love that kid.
Yeah.
He just, unfortunately, in this world, it's not like the way we were when we grew up.
Right.
Right. So I mean, and I know that people hear this all the time, and they hear it from generation to generation, but man, they're lazy.
Oh yeah.
And the worst part is that I'm one of the culprits for it.
Right.
Because I raised him, and we don't have much to offer. Like, I can't take him out on the 50-acre ranch and go have him bale hay and move sprinkler pipes and all that kind of crap, right? Like I did. For him, he's just grown up super soft.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be a challenge at first until he understands exactly what we just got ourselves into.
Yeah.
And I think that he's going to want to drive and push and impress me to the point that he's going to figure it out. I bet it'll take a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we get going, we have our jobs, in line, and we're jumping from job to job. It'll take a couple weeks, and it's going to be pure hell for him at first.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it, dude.
I can completely imagine. Like, I'm sitting there thinking about my 11-year-old kid who I feel like she does things half-assed just so that she doesn't have to do it later.
Very true.
Like that's what I feel like it is. And
I
like it's
bet.
kind of my fault because I've given her all these things, and it's like this is the way we're raised, though, right? Like let's give our kids more than what we had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of a disservice to them by doing that.
It is. And it's also, I wonder if it's, in my mind, I'm thinking it's like we got our asses handed to us, like on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we pretty much, no offense, mom and dad, but we pretty much raised ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they drove and they taught us how to, to work and that kind of stuff, but then we were on our own. For the kids now, I wonder if it's almost because we had it so rough and so tough that we don't want our kids to go through that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they understand how vital and how important that is for kids. And so that's what I see. And unfortunately, I have a 19-year-old boy who I'm just like, man, he's got to toughen up.
Yeah.
The world is going to eat him up. But of course, he is a professional gamer, so he's ranked pretty high. He's going to be playing someday, and he's going to be making a ton of money doing it. So how much do I really need to push and drive him? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be good for him just to have.
Got to be careful getting those calluses on those hands because he's got to push those
Oh,
buttons.
dude. When he tells me that his hands, he's got to be careful with his hands. He's got to wear these special gloves. He's got to do this. I'm like, oh, dude, you are. Oh my gosh! I'm like, do you need a box of tampons too? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to remember who you're talking to, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things were a lot different when we were growing up.
Whoop his ass, and it's gonna be fun.
Yep.
So, sorry, I don't know if I can swear on this.
Oh,
or
you're
not, but
fine. Don't
okay.
worry about it.
All right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I think he's gonna do good. I just like the idea of as a parent knowing that I could have done more and could have gotten him ready for life a little bit better. I feel like I have a second chance right now where we're going to create this company. Him and I are going to work together. I'm going to get his hands dirty. I'm going to teach him a schedule. I'm going to teach him all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And then teach him a trade. Right. So, I mean, maybe he'll love it, and maybe he'll take it. Maybe he'll run with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's awesome, man. I'm excited for it to see where it's going. It's Orchard Siding Company, is what we said?
Yep, Orchard and Co. Siding. Yep.
Orchard and Co. Siding, and then you're doing some real estate with Next Level still, but not.
Yes, correct. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm just going to do some just land and development for the most part. I've pretty much pushed all the other stuff away. I'll refer, like if I get referrals or friends and family or something like that, I'll usually just refer it off to, some of my close agents and friends and stuff like that. But I won't turn down a good infill project. If I come across it and the numbers work and it looks like we can make some money on it, I'll be jumping on those.
Doing it.
Yep, for sure.
Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you for siding or if they want to get a hold of you for a land deal or anything like that?
Yeah, so numbers and emails, is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Okay, yep. So number is 208-914-4628. I don't know if you guys can even see this. And then I got the nice little fancy cards made.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, it's Nathan Orchard at orchardandcosiding.com, and that's spelled out A-N-D co siding, because you can't put symbols in the emails. I was super bummed about that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot.
Yeah. And then we're also on Instagram. I want to say it's Orchard Siding.
Okay.
Orchard Siding Idaho, I think is what it was. Like, this is all so brand new.
Yeah, we'll throw it all on the notes so people can see it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then we got our website that I think, like I said, I think is up, and it's just Orchard and Co. Siding.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming in here and hanging out with me and telling us a little bit about your business. And
thank you.
Hopefully it goes well for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for letting me on. Appreciate
no problem.
Okay. We needed to.